Welcome back, history buffs. In today's deep dive, we're examining the tumultuous and often violent history of the Roman civil wars spanning from the late Republic in the 1st century BCE to the decline of the Western Roman Empire in the 5th century CE. These civil wars were more than just a series of power struggles. They were the crucibles in which the fate of one of the most powerful civilizations in history was forged. From the rise of Julius Caesar to the eventual collapse of the Western Roman Empire, the civil wars were a constant force in shaping Roman history. Let's explore how these conflicts unfolded. The origins of the Roman civil wars lie in the final decades of the Roman Republic. By the mid-1st century BC, the Republic, once a democratic system of governance, was plagued by severe political instability. The Senate, which had traditionally held power, was increasingly divided, and military leaders began to amass personal power. The social and economic inequality between the Roman elite and the masses grew, and external threats, like the increasing pressure from Eastern powers, added to the chaos. The Republic's internal fractures, ranging from class struggles to personal rivalries between powerful generals, set the stage for civil conflict. The political system itself had grown too weak to accommodate the ambitions of generals like Gaius Marius, Lucius Sulla, Pompey the Great, and Julius Caesar. Earlier in the century, the rivalry between the general Gaius Marius and the aristocratic Lucius Sulla was one of the first examples of civil strife within the Republic. In 88 BCE, Sulla marched on Rome, an unprecedented act of a Roman general against the state. After a bloody civil war, Sulla would become dictator, but the damage to the Republic's stability was done. This marked the first time in Rome's history that military force had been used to determine political outcomes. Following Sulla's death, the balance of power in Rome shifted yet again. Enter Julius Caesar, Pompey, and Crassus, three men who would form the first triumvirate in 60 BCE. Though not an official institution, the triumvirate was an unholy alliance of Rome's most powerful men who effectively controlled the Roman political landscape. Caesar was ambitious, Pompey was the military hero, and Crassus was wealthy and politically influential. Julius Caesar's conquest of Gaul 58 to 50 BCE not only expanded Roman territory, but also made him extremely popular with the Roman masses and the military. His growing power alarmed many in the Senate, including Pompey, who had once been his ally. In 49 BCE, the fragile alliance of the triumvirate finally fractured. Tensions between Caesar and Pompey reached a boiling point, and the Senate, now dominated by Pompey's supporters, ordered Caesar to disband his army and return to Rome as a private citizen. Caesar, however, made a fateful decision. He crossed the Rubicon River with his legions, uttering the famous words, "The die is cast." The crossing of the Rubicon marked the start of the civil war between Caesar and Pompey. The conflict would see Caesar's forces decisively defeat Pompey at the Battle of Pharsalus in 48 BCE, forcing Pompey to flee to Egypt, where he was assassinated. Caesar became the undisputed leader of Rome, but his rise to power was met with mixed reactions. Though Caesar had been declared dictator for life, his reign was short-lived. In 44 BCE, Caesar was assassinated by a group of senators, led by Brutus and Cassius, who feared his growing power. Caesar's death, however, did not end the conflict. Rather, it led to another round of civil wars. After Caesar's assassination, Rome was plunged into further instability. His supporters, including his grandnephew Octavian, Marcus Antonius, Mark Antony, and Lepidus, formed the Second Triumvirate in 43 BCE. Together, they sought to avenge Caesar's death and defeat the forces of Brutus and Cassius, the so-called liberators. At the Battle of Philippi in 40 BCE, the forces of the liberators were decisively defeated. Both Brutus and Cassius committed suicide, but the power struggle among Caesar's former allies was far from over. Though the Second Triumvirate was initially united, tensions soon emerged between Octavian and Antony, particularly over control of the Roman world. The final chapter of the Roman Republic came with the war between Octavian and Antony. Antony, who had aligned himself with the Egyptian queen Cleopatra, represented a powerful eastern faction, while Octavian's base of support was in the west. The Battle of Actium in 31 BCE would determine the future of Rome. At Actium, Octavian's fleet decisively defeated Antony and Cleopatra's forces. Antony and Cleopatra both committed suicide, and Octavian became the undisputed ruler of Rome. In 27 BCE, he was granted the title of Augustus, marking the official end of the Roman Republic and the beginning of the Roman Empire. Even after the establishment of the Roman Empire, the imperial succession was fraught with civil war. Emperors like Tiberius, Caligula, and Nero ruled with varying degrees of instability, leading to multiple rebellions and uprisings. The imperial system itself became a source of internal conflict as powerful military leaders and generals fought for control over the throne. Perhaps the most famous period of civil conflict in the early empire was the year of the four emperors in 69 CE after the death of Nero. For different claimants, Galba, Otho, Vitellius, and Vespasian fought for the throne. Vespasian ultimately triumphed, establishing the Flavian dynasty. As the empire expanded and contracted, the Western Roman Empire faced continued civil strife in the 3rd and 4th centuries CE. Rebellions, military usurpations, and constant barbarian invasions eroded the empire's stability. By the time of the fall of the Western Roman Empire in 476 CE, internal strife coupled with invasions by the Visigoths and Vandals had decimated the western half of the empire. While the Western Empire fell, the Eastern Roman Empire, known as the Byzantine Empire, survived for nearly another 1,000 years, showing how the Roman state, though divided, would endure in different forms. The legacy of the Roman civil wars, however, still echoes throughout history, revealing how power, ambition, and internal divisions can shape the course of empires. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the Roman civil wars. If you enjoyed this exploration of ancient Roman history, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more in-depth historical analysis. Until next time, history awaits.